Hi, I'm Christian. I'm here to support you today. Everything we discuss is confidential, which means it will stay between us unless there's a concern for safety. My goal is to help you navigate your concerns. What are you hoping to achieve in our session today?
Honestly, I'm a bit nervous. I've never been to therapy before and I'm not sure what to expect. But I'm also kind of relieved to be here. I've been feeling overwhelmed lately and I guess I just need help figuring it out. Um, and not great today also. Honestly, I don't even know where to start. Everything feels like it's just too much. I guess that's why I'm here, right? To talk about it. But I don't even know how.
I understand. Starting therapy can feel intimidating, but it's great that you're here and open to talking about it. This is a safe space where you can express whatever in your mind without judgment. I can imagine it must be hard to even put into words how you're feeling when there's so much going on. Let's take it one step at a time. I'm here to help you process whatever you need. Can you tell me a little about what's been weighing on you lately? Anything in particular that feels like it's taking up a lot of your energy?
It's just everything. School is a mess, my grades are slipping, and my parents are on my case all the time. It feels like no matter how hard I try, it's never enough for them. And then there's this pressure to get into a good college, to make something of myself, and I don't even know what I want to do. I feel like I'm failing in every area of my life, and the more I try to keep up, the more I feel like I'm sinking.
Hmm. It sounds like you're carrying a lot of pressure from different directions: school, your family's expectations, and your own hopes for the future. That's a lot for anyone to manage, especially when you're still figuring out who you are and what you want. Can you tell me more about your relationship with your parents? What kind of pressure are they putting on you?
Well, they they want me to get into a really good college like UP or something, and they both went to big universities and had successful careers, and they expect the same from me. And but it's not just about school. They want me to be involved in everything: sports, clubs, volunteering, to have this perfect resume that will impress colleges. They don't really understand that I'm tired, that I have no time for everything else.
That's exhausting. It's clear your parents have very high expectations for you, and it seems like they're not fully aware of how much this is impacting your mental and emotional well being. Do you feel like you can talk to them about how you're feeling? Or does it feel like they wouldn't understand?
I don't think they would understand. Every time I try to explain that I'm struggling, they just tell me to push through it or try harder. They don't see how overwhelming it is. And then when I get bad grades or miss something, they're disappointed in me. I don't want to disappoint them, but it feels like no matter how hard I try, it's never good enough.
That's really tough. It's painful when you feel like you're doing your best, but it's still not enough to meet others' expectations. Your feelings of frustration and exhaustion are completely valid, and it seems like you're trying to manage all of this on your own. How are you feeling about your grades right now? Do you feel like you're able to keep up with your schoolwork?
Not at all. I try to study, but I can't focus for long. Every time I sit down to work, my mind just wanders, and then I get anxious about falling behind. I've missed a few assignments and now I'm behind in two classes. I feel like I'm failing, and no matter how much I try to catch up, it's just getting worse. It's like I'm drowning and I don't know how to stop.
It sounds like you're experiencing a lot of pressure not only from your parents but also from yourself to keep up with everything. That's a difficult combination, and it's no surprise you're feeling like you're falling behind. How do you typically handle that anxiety when it's built up? Do you have any strategies or coping mechanism you use?
I don't know. I just try to keep going, I guess. I keep telling myself I'll catch up later or that I just need to work harder, but I end up feeling worse, like nothing is ever enough. Sometimes I just get really upset, but I don't know how to stop feeling this way, and I don't want to let anyone see how much I'm struggling, especially my parents. I don't want them to think that I'm weak or I can't handle it.
I hear you. It sounds like there's a lot of pressure you're placing on yourself to not only meet others' expectations, but to always appear like you have everything together. It's understandable that you want to protect your parents from seeing how much you're struggling, but it's also important to remember that your feelings are valid and you don't have to carry this burden on your own. It might be helpful to talk about some strategies to manage the anxiety and pressure you're feeling. Would you be open to that?
I'd like that. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I just don't know how to make it stop.
That's a good place to start. Recognizing that you don't have to carry this alone. One thing that can be really helpful when you're feeling overwhelmed is learning how to break things down into smaller, more manageable steps. Right now, everything feels like it's piling up on you, but if we can identify some concrete actions to take, it might help reduce the pressure a bit. Can we explore some of the things that are causing the most stress for you at school and in your family and break them down into more manageable pieces?
Well, I don't know. Okay, I guess school is first. I'm behind in two classes. I have two major assignments I need to catch up on, and then there's the pressure to get perfect grades because my parents expect nothing less.
Okay, so you have few assignments to catch up on, and the pressure of maintaining perfect grades is adding to your stress. Let's focus on the assignments first. Can you tell me more about the specific assignments you need to catch up on? How much time do you think each will one will take?
Well, I have a history essay due in 2 weeks, and I haven't started it yet, and I'm already freaking out about it. Then there's a math test next week, and I haven't studied for it at all. Honestly, I'm so behind that I feel like I can catch up, even if I try.
That's a lot to deal with, and it's understandable that you're feeling overwhelmed. But we can break this down. Let's start with your history essay. Instead of thinking about it as a whole, can we break it into smaller tasks? For example, you could start by gathering your notes and creating an outline. How long do you think each of those steps would take?
Hmm, gathering notes would probably take an hour, and the outline maybe another hour after that. It doesn't sound so bad when I think about it that way.
Exactly. Breaking it down like that makes it feel more manageable. And what about the math test? Have you been able to go over any of the material yet? Or is it all still ahead of you?
I haven't even started studying for it. I just keep putting it off because I don't even know where to begin.
It's easy to feel stuck when we don't know where to start. But let's take a step back and make it a smaller task. How about we start by reviewing a section of the material for 20 minutes at a time? You don't need to cram everything into one sitting. Little by little, you can build your confidence and knowledge.
Well, that makes sense. It sounds more doable than trying to tackle everything at once.
Exactly. You don't have to do everything at once. And take it one step at a time can help you feel more in control. It's also important to remember that it's okay if things don't go perfectly. Progress is still progress, even if it's slower than you'd like. How do you feel about this smaller step for your assignments and tests?
Yeah, I think that will help. It feels less overwhelming when I break it down like that. I just have to remind myself that it's okay. I don't get everything done right away.
Absolutely. Remember, we don't have to be perfect. You're doing your best, and that's enough. As for your family, we'll need to talk about how you can communicate your feelings to them in a way that might help them understand what you're going through. Have you thought about how you might start that conversation?
I don't know. I want to tell them, but I'm afraid they'll just get angry or say I'm not trying hard enough. It's like they won't understand that I'm doing the best I can.
It's difficult to anticipate how someone will respond, but you have the right to express how you're feeling. Perhaps we could role play that conversation together so you can feel more prepared when the time comes.
Yeah, I think that might help. To be honest, I don't really know how to bring it up. They always focus on the grades, so when I try to tell them that I need a break or that I'm feeling burnt out, they just tell me that I'm not trying hard enough. It's like they don't see the bigger picture. They don't understand how much effort I'm already putting in.
It sounds like you're really putting in a lot of effort, but it's not being recognized in a way that helps you feel understood. When parents are so focused on academic results, it can sometimes be hard for them to see the emotional or mental toll it takes on you. But it's important for them to understand that balance and well being are just important as achieving high grades. Have you thought about any ways to communicate that to them?
I guess maybe I could try to explain how I'm feeling more clearly instead of just telling them that I'm stressed. I could share how all this pressure is affecting my health and my happiness, and how I'm worried it's impacting my ability to really focus or even enjoy learning.
That sounds like a good approach. Being open about how it's impacting you personally might help them see things from your perspective. It can also be helpful to share specific examples of how what you're experiencing, like how much time studying is taking up, how it's affecting your relationships, or how you're feeling physically and emotionally. Sometimes, when parents can hear the impact it's having on their child's overall well-being, they're more open to understanding your needs.
That makes sense. I just don't want them to think I'm not trying my best. I do care about my education, but I don't want to feel like I have to sacrifice everything else for it.
It's really important to remember that taking care of your well being doesn't mean you're not trying your best. In fact, finding balance can actually help you perform better in the long run. When you're overwhelmed, it becomes harder to focus and be productive. Taking time for yourself can recharge your energy and help you approach your studies with a clearer mind and more motivation. Do you think you could start by setting some small boundaries with your parents around your time and emotional needs?
Maybe I could try saying that I need some time for myself to recharge, even if it's just an hour a day. I think I could also try explaining that when I'm overwhelmed, it actually makes it harder for me to do well in school because I'm not able to focus or be as effective. Maybe they'll understand that.
That sounds like a good starting point. You might also want to consider framing the conversation around what you can do rather than focusing on what's not working. For example, you could express your commitment to doing your best, but also ask for their support in finding a balance that help you thrive in all areas of your life, academics, relationships, and your mental health. How does that sound to you?
I think that could help. I want them to know that I do care about my future, but I also need to take care of myself to get there. I don't want to burn out.
That's a very healthy mindset. Taking care of your well being is an essential part of being able to succeed in any area of your life. And it's okay to ask for help and support when you need it. You're not alone in this, and you deserve to have your emotional and mental health prioritized just as much as your academic success. How are you feeling about the conversation with your parents now?
I feel a little more confident about it, and I know it's not going to be easy, but at least I have a better idea of how to express myself. I just hope they'll understand.
It's understandable to feel uncertain, but it sounds like you're taking a thoughtful approach. Communication takes time and patience, and it's okay if it doesn't change everything right away. But by sharing how you feel, you're opening the door to understanding. You're advocating for yourself, which is really important. I believe you can make them see your perspective. How do you feel about continuing to work on this together? Maybe exploring ways to manage the stress and balance your responsibilities.
I think that would be really helpful. I don't want to keep feeling overwhelmed all the time. I'd like to figure out a way to manage everything and still feel like I'm doing my best.
Great! We can definitely work together on finding strategies to manage that stress and prioritize your well being. Remember, you deserve to take care of yourself while also pursuing your academic goals. I'm here to support you through this process.
Thank you, that means a lot.
You're very welcome. We'll take it one step at a time. You're doing the right thing by seeking support, and that's something to be proud of. I'll be here whenever you need to talk.